Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. One of the hypocrisies of the Dawah people is that whenever they talk with the non-Muslims, they always want the non-Muslims to accept on the basis of evidence, not to accept on the basis of the population they have. For example, if they are talking with a Christian, they will say that your Bible says this, your Bible says that. Fine. They will never appeal to the authority in that case. But the problem comes when these people, when confronted with the Muslim, they say that you should follow your scholars blindly. I mean, nobody says it explicitly as I am saying, but the argument when they deal with the Muslims is that so many people out of 1400 years of scholarship, only you have understood this issue and no other scholars have understood this issue. The same mob mentality, the same shirk, the same kufr, the same blind following which they criticize non-Muslims of, they are doing the same for the Muslims and Islam. I mean, they are doing the same thing which they accuse non-Muslims of. They accuse non-Muslims of kufr and shirk, but you can see even amongst the Muslim there are shirk going on when the people are going for mazar and asking Gairullah for help. These guys do not differentiate. These guys do not ever raise these voices against those people who are committing shirk amongst the Muslims. Very rarely you will find them, unless you are a Maulana of Salfi or somewhat like that. Very rarely. They are too focused to convert non-Muslims. However, our job as Muslims is not to convert other people. Our job as a Muslim is to convey the message. By message, I don't mean what I have understood of the message or my interpretation of Islam. If someone comes and asks me, I will answer. Of course, that will be my interpretation of Islam, but my duty is not to tell my interpretation of Islam. My duty is to give the message of Allah, message of God to the people. And how will you give a message of God to the people? By not introducing them to the Quran. Give them the Quran and let them decide. And this is what the Quran says, that whenever that the only source through which you can give dawah is Quran. It is not. But I've seen that these dawah people, they are all over the place. They have turned dawah into a circus, and before it was only dawah Islam, now it's their dawah of the sects. And they say, according to them, since they have the largest population of the, they are the member of the biggest sect, so they say that since we are the biggest sect, therefore we will defend the biggest sect, because of course the donation comes from the biggest sect. And at the same time, not only the donations, uh, if we are not from the this safe sect, which is the biggest sect, Ahle Sunnat, if we are not from this big sect, then we will be persecuted and we will be left alone. So that's the reason many of these people, they have now started to do sectarianism war in their circle, in their so-called street dawah, which they like to call it. The problem with this approach is that it is valid for when you talk with the non-Muslims, you are talking about evidence. But when you talk with the Muslims, you are actually asking the Muslims to obey the scholars blindly. You are asking the Muslims to obey the ijma blindly. And when, if there is a ijma amongst the Christians that Jesus Christ is God or Son of God, you say that no, don't follow your ijma, don't follow your 2000 years old of scholarship, follow the evidence. But when it comes to Muslims, you are saying to the Muslim, oh, you have understood the evidence, and 1400 years of scholarship, they haven't understood it. So same logic which you accuse non-Muslims of, you are following the same logic. That's unfortunate. and that's a double standard, I would like to say. And because of this double standard, people are not this has the direct effect upon the reputation of Islam, that Islam is producing hypocrites, because at one hand they are saying that follow the evidence to the non-Muslims, and to the Muslims they are saying follow the scholars or follow the ijma of the Muslims. So this is the double standard which I think I should have point out.